Good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
Hey, it's Mary with Music Junkie Press. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with us here.
No problem. No problem.
Well, we got to tell you congratulations on Proof of Life. It's an amazing album that, it's definitely filled with heartfelt songs wrapped in rock and roll. Love it.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
Now, how has it been? I mean, what if you could get a message conveyed from this album to people who are familiar with you from your past? What message would you like them to get?
I think one of the messages in this record for me was that in order for change to happen in my life, I couldn't sit around and wait. I had to take action, and I think that's a key message within this album is for change. We have to take action, and there's plenty more. I think that's a big one, and I think it ties in with the name and the title, Proof of Life.
Yep.
Because I think, from my perspective, getting to this point where I am in my life after where I've been during a dark period, aside from my faith, I'm my proof of life.
Uh-huh.
It took me a while to really quit looking everywhere outside of myself and start looking within myself. And so, that'd be another message.
It's amazing because I definitely you bring it this very personal level onto everything. The songs are very powerful. And how was it recording the album? Was it a pretty emotional process?
Well, it was because I was writing and recording at the same time, and so everything was fresh, and all the reflection and the content was right on the surface, and it was really at the place of kind of, if I could explain it by saying where you're reflecting on things and it's cloudy,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden you have clarity.
The clouds break through. Exactly, I know exactly what you mean. That's it.
And that's how the record was, and so it really impacted me as a human being as well, because I finally had clarity on a lot of things, and so I grew a lot as a human being, and change happened within me that couldn't have happened without me writing this record and doing it the way that I did.
So it's almost like, during the whole time, it's almost like a whole therapy process, bringing this piece to you as well.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely, music has always been therapy for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a way that I've kind of dealt with life and dealt with my questions and my frustrations and my concerns and my sorrow and my pain and my struggles. And I think that with this particular record, it was really a change in that I was focused on honestly reflecting on me, and commenting on me, and not being outside of myself, but really turning the focus on me, and that can be difficult, but I think I was with the things that I'd gone through in my life prior to making this record, I was broken enough, and really in the right frame of mind and humbled enough where I could do this without pulling any punches, and be honest and clear, because there's I found in my life there's no real growth until you get there.
Yes.
And so to be able to do that through rock and roll and through music is just a gift that I'm so thankful for, and I hope that like I've heard fans say with other records in my career, I hope this record can continue that streak and connect with people, because I know there's a lot of people that go through similar issues as I have, and even others that I don't, but that I think if they like rock and roll music, this record can kind of be a soundtrack to their journey.
Exactly, exactly. And how is that for you too? When you're out on the road and you're meeting fans, and you literally, how must that be when people literally tell you that your music helped change them, or helped them get through some of the hardest times in their life? I mean, that must be really hard to hear. I mean, how is that for you?
Well, at first, when it first started happening, I was overwhelmed,
Mm-hmm.
and very, what's the word? I think in my, I kind of would be like, no, 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 it's not me.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to accept it.
Yes.
I didn't know what to say. And then I went through a stage where, with every person, and this is every day. This is, I mean, on tour, it's every day,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe 3 or 4 days a week in my personal life. I get told this, and then it got to be a very, very heavy,
Yes.
where I was becoming emotionally attached to every story, and feeling. I would feel the heaviness of what that person was sharing with me, even though 9 times out of 10 it was a happy ending.
Yes.
I would still get emotionally drawn in while they were telling me, and then today I'm at a place where, and instantly I want to give them a hug and tell them that's awesome, and I feel so thankful and so humble and full of gratitude that things and experiences that for me I may have thought had no purpose, or were struggles and were pain, or confusion, now seem to have been able to have a purpose. And so those times in my life where I just was in a dark place, it's changed my perspective on those now, which I think helps give me hope for when times and get tough, or when I have confusion and indecision or problems or anything in my life. Now I understand, and it gives me hope that there's purpose for that. And even if I wasn't making music that the whole world could hear, for anyone there's purpose in those times in our life, because out of that not only can we grow, but if we see and acknowledge that there's purpose, then we realize we're basically in school,
Mm-hmm.
training, and we can use those situations to help others, and that's just been such a gift to me, and I finally, after 15 years, been able to accept that and understand it.
It's beautiful. It is, because I mean, definitely a lot of people, especially with this album, I could really see a lot of connection with people who they could be struggling from the same type of things or completely different, but the words connect to them. I mean, Breakout is one of my favorite songs. I mean, it's definitely like taking back control type song. Can you tell me a little bit about that song?
Yeah, it's funny. When my son Jagger, who's 15 now, when he was about 9 years old, that's when the idea for Breakout was born. I had given him a little mini cassette recorder because he was asking me about how to write songs. And I said, well, son, you just sing what's in your heart, just whatever's on your mind, just like I've been telling you since you're a little kid. And I would give him examples of like something silly, but just to try to communicate with him, don't worry about sounding like a pro right now. Just sing get in touch with your soul.
Uh-huh.
And I went in because he had been in the shower for a long time. And he actually wasn't in the shower, but the shower was running, and I knocked on the door. He didn't hear me because he was singing.
I love it.
Breakout, I want to be free. He was singing that into his cassette player. And I cracked the door, and he was embarrassed, and, get out, Dad, you interrupted me. But I was like, that's a good song. And so years later, I guess it was time. I was making this record, and I was feeling that emotion of those words.
Yep.
And so, I went to him and told him, hey, you never finished that. Can I use that chorus? Because I'm connecting with it. He's like, sure, Dad. So, I used the first 3 lines that he wrote, and then, wrote the rest of the song.
Well, it's a great song. It really is. I could totally imagine that moment, too. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, for me, I when you're coming out of a fog or coming out of a dark place, and for me it was, I had become addicted to some drugs, prescription drugs that I took, not in abusing them at that point in time, but just because of health issues and whatnot, and then I had complicated that by continuing to drink, not knowing that I had a problem. And so when I was coming out of that, and my brain was getting back to normal, just everyday life was really stressful.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was balancing out. So with that song, it was just, I had to keep my fight going so I wouldn't go backwards. So every day, I just had to look at it like a fight, and I was going to make it, the next 5 minutes or the next hour or the next 24 hours. And, when I start the song off, I wake up to the sound again of red lights flashing in my bed. Just the sound of normal family life was overwhelming, almost like when in the new Superman movie, when he, got his powers, he didn't really know how to fly, and he was falling down, and he didn't understand his hearing and his eyesight. Everything was just so dramatized, or that's I made up that word, but dramatic and harsh. Well, that's kind of how it is when you're coming out of a fog, and that can also be depression, because that was the underlying thing for me at that time. And so, I wanted to fight it, though. I didn't want to accept it and let it beat me anymore. And so that was one of my songs of kind of acknowledging what was going on, but saying, I'm not gonna stay here. I'm gonna fight out of this.
That is awesome.
I'm saying hello to a new dream. I'm taking it back, what's left of me. Don't even try, you can't stop me now. No, 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 no.
And that's the other thing with your songs. You actually allow, a listener to feel those emotions. When they might turn to other, things, devices, to be able to not feel emotions, you allow them to sort of feel their emotions in a safe place within listening to a song. And I think that actually helps give them the power to face whatever their challenges are ahead.
Yeah, well, one thing that I learned in my journey so far is feeling the emotions is a better high than any drug or any alcohol could ever give you. And to experience that and to understand that no matter what it is, it has a purpose, even if you can't see it yet.
Mm-hmm.
That changed everything, and I didn't want to escape anymore.
Yes.
I wanted to be present, and I wanted to look at it like it was a training session, and that's the way I have to continue to focus. Now, with depression, and which is something I think that the whole, all of the world, and especially the United States right now with mental illness, is dealing with, different variations of mental illness. But for me, depression was one. That's something that you can't control. And for me, I one thing that I had to learn was it's okay to ask for help. And that would be another message I'd want to share is, if you're feeling that way and you're getting these crazy thoughts in your head that you won't live anymore, or you can't handle life, there's help out there, and it works. And don't be afraid to ask.
That's so true. That is, all they got to do is just ask somebody. And the nice thing is that through your music too, it's actually created a family among people. I mean, it's interesting because there's people who are fans who meet up at the shows, never met each other, but they end up being, friends after that because they share, they share their stories about your music and how it touched them. So you're actually building all these little interconnecting families with people. A support system, I believe, too.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, it just blows my mind, to hear you articulate that again, and realizing that that's the reality. It's just been amazing, and to know that this music and this art is a journey for all of us, and that there's I'm not alone in this world, and the fans are feeling the same thing, and so it's awesome that it brings us all together.
It is. Now you're heading out on a tour I think in another 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, June 13th.
Awesome. What are you looking forward to when you first get out on the road?
I tell you what I always look forward to is this feeling that I get, not every night, but I wish I could get it every night on stage. The only thing I can compare it to is when you hear sports figures, they're in the zone.
Uh-huh.
And, we heard that a lot with Michael Jordan, and we see that with other great athletes where they just can't miss, and it's almost like they're not human. Well, that keeps me fired up and passionate because I want that feeling, and I strive to go to that place live where you almost feel like you're not in control, but you have no fear, and you know that everything is, you feel you can hit every note. Physically, you feel great. You feel completely in the spirit of the vibe and the feeling and connected with all your senses. But again, you feel like there's something else. And, that's a feeling I live for. And that's a place that I wish I could just, make happen every night. And, hopefully, my goal is to make it my goal is to get it where it's every night. But, I thrive on that. And it's something between the fans and myself and the spirit in that room.
And it's true. It's going to be exciting because we're waiting for you to come to California. I know you've got most of your dates are not in California, so we'll be patiently waiting out here.
We'll be over there. We'll be over there. Stay tuned. Dates are to come.
Oh, good job. Good job. Now, are you working on any more videos?
Actually, we just began to talk about doing another video. We haven't really decided completely on the track yet. But, we're definitely going to be doing another video here soon.
That's going to be great. Definitely Slow Suicide got a great, intense video, and actually provides still hope and everything that people can always move forward. From wherever they come from, wherever they are, it gives a message. You can always move forward. You just have to be there for that hand to reach out to you as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. You got to take action.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the beauty of human, is no matter how times we fall, we can get back up again. And we shouldn't look at things from a place of shame or guilt, and let that continue to impact our lives today. If we just give it purpose and look at it like it was a school, then we've learned that, and we can move on and go on.
That's awesome. You've always got such great, advice and sharing words for everybody. Lastly, is there anything you'd like to share with the fans?
I'd say just how much I love and appreciate them. And, people all come to rock and roll shows for different reasons. If there are fans out there that, are really wanting to hear a great rock and roll band that has a style and a sound of everything that they love about rock and roll, I don't think they'll be disappointed coming to my shows. And, if there's fans that want to feel and want to go through a musical journey of the human experience, they won't be disappointed either. And then if there's fans out there that like to kind of connect to something bigger in their faith, and they're gonna get that too. And so I really feel that it's a great experience, and whatever you want out of the experience, I'm really confident that you get that in the show, and that's what I'm trying to deliver.
And you are. We thank you for bringing us all on this journey. I mean, you definitely, we're on the journey with you as you're coming out of the dark and into the light. You really just brought everybody along with you. And we thank you for sharing that with all of us.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
No, thank you so much, and have a great time on tour, and we will go ahead and hope to see you.
Awesome. We will see you on the West Coast very soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, Scott.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
It's like committing slow suicide. It's no secret. I can't pretend, I can't forget what I've done every day.